Hello and
Nigger.
View, I have an absolutist view that the world is round, and in fact, but force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real. Hashtag I stand with Maya. Mad. Radical. Welcome to the far right, JK. She also accused the Employment Tribunal of having retweeted transphobic material, including a newspaper cartoon of a person flashing two women at London's swimming pool with the caption, "It's alright, it's a woman's penis."
So what, are they going to disagree?
Don't know.
Are they going to try and tell me that's not a woman's penis?
I think that Liam would have to say that it is a woman's penis. I don't want to get, the government. Court documents show that she had previously tweeted, "It's unfair and unsafe for trans women to compete in women's sports." Well, I can see why the judge came down so hard against her now. But on the plus side, For Starter did raise a lot of money doing this. She raised £124,000, so about $180,000, something like that. So she at least has a sizable community backing her, which was the excellent job. But anyway, so she did pretty well, and she's fine, which is good. Right, and then so the reason that this is relevant is because this is a case that is about to have its decision made on appeal. So she has appealed this, obviously, and of course, as these things do, take 2 years to go through, because why not? You can't have a quick decision on something this important. But anyway, this is why this came up. So her appeal is being heard next week. It will include an intervention from the Equalities and Human Rights Commission. Who's in charge of that?
Equality and Human Rights Commission? That'll be Liz Truss and Kelly Bailey.
Yes, it will. That's why I asked. So hopefully, we get a nice intervention from the two most based women in society, who can put their knees on the neck of Judge James Taylor. So the views themselves, right? I love the way this is all framed, right? She says that losing her appeal would set a scary precedent, which of course it would, and it would be open season for women in particular, but for anybody who speaks up about women's sex-based rights. I mean, it affects everyone else, but sure, why not? It affects feminists too. Women most affected, okay. And this is the thing, we're forced to defend the TERFs, but 5 years ago I was calling the TERFs idiots. Because they are.
But at your time, they were the biggest idiots in the room, for your opinion.
Yeah.
And now it's actually, you guys look completely sane. That's your position.
That is my position, yeah. Right. The intersectionals have made the TERFs sane. Which tells you everything you know about the intersectionals. Anyway. But the Sky replied, but her views caused serious offence and distressed many transgender people.
No, we can't have people being offended.
Not distress, anything like that. Many say that they amount to a denial of their right to exist and threaten a healthy and respectful workplace.
Do you think she's building camps?
Well, I tell you what, if there's one thing I've noticed is that when intersectionality enters workspace, it becomes way more healthy and respectful. Definitely doesn't lead to these kind of problems.
I always hate this framing of like you're questioning their right to exist, as if you're literally like, yeah, I'm going to kill you all if you don't stop demanding pronouns. But no, it's just leave us alone. That's it.
Well, things like questioning someone's rights to exist. What does that even mean? Like, if it was we're going to kill you, like, you know, they're going to put them into camps, they're going to shoot them, put them up against a wall, or something like that.
The correct use of that phrase.
Well, I don't even know. I think that you know, questioning someone's right to exist, I don't think that would sufficiently cover the depth of the problem they're about to encounter, right? That Hitler wasn't questioning the right of the Jews to exist.
Yeah.
He was engaging in an active campaign of extermination. So, like, you would, if you said, oh, Hitler was just questioning the right of the Jews to exist, you'd be
downplaying it.
Exactly. You'd be accused of massively downplaying the Holocaust, right? So what are they trying to say with that? Oh, they're questioning the right to exist. It's like... But anyway, if a person obtains a gender recognition certificate, they should have the full protection of the law in exactly the same way we would expect anyone else to have the full protection of the law. Says inclusion and diversity consultant Bobby Pickard. What? Like, I've got a piece of paper from the government that says I exist. Therefore, the law applies to me. Well, I don't have a certificate that says that I exist, and I think the law applies to me too.
Yeah, no one's questioning our right to exist. But we don't need that piece of paper.
And I don't care about your opinion on it either. But anyway,
This is like Ben Shapiro. He's got 2 marriage licenses, he always says. He's got one from the state in the garage, who cares, and then one from his rabbi. That's the one that matters.
Yeah.
You don't need a piece of paper from the state to say if something's real or not.
well, apparently you do, because if we undermine that, then we fundamentally undermine protections for all trans people in the UK. What? Protections that force people to do something.
It's not protection.
That's not a protection.
That's a privilege.
It's a privilege. It's absolutely right. That's what an aristocrat has. But the tweets that she was sending are unacceptable to me personally, and deeply offensive to me personally, says Ms. Pickard. Trans people in this country are being vilified for something that is natural. Hormonal development is brain and womb, and no different from me being transgender and having green eyes and brown hair and colour of skin. Am I going to say it? Can I say this? Can I say it? If it's so natural, why do you need therapy? Why do you need surgery? I mean, I didn't need anything to be done about the colour of my eyes and the colour of my skin, because that was... I would suggest that there's natural meaning that doesn't require outside intervention. And if you do require outside intervention, and I'm sure justly so, I'm not saying it's wrong or anything like that, at least not yet.
Can it be defined as natural?
Can it be defined as natural? But, that's an exclusive word, you've noticed. Some things fall outside of the definition of natural, and therefore that natural word has to go. But that's the point. The thing is, this goes back to the gay and straight debate. Is it something that is inherent to you? And I think that it is, right? I didn't get
Being
to choose.
homosexual.
Yeah, I didn't get to choose my sexuality. I don't think a gay person gets to choose their sexuality. And I agree that like a trans person probably doesn't get to choose whether they're trans or not, right? But the left has undermined this completely because actually, no, it's all a social construct. Biology is nothing because what we're speaking of there is biological essential. This is a part of you, you can't change it. Which again, it's part of you, you can't change it. And the left's like, no, it's not.
No, I'm gay now.
Well, you should choose not to. Sure.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, you know, so you made a choice. So it's not even a belief that needs protection under the law. So you just chose it. So just choose the opposite. Just do it. What's preventing it? And that's the thing. It's such an obvious L for the left to go down this road, but that's where they've gone. And so now that's why Maya Forstadt is in so much trouble. Because she holds a severe conviction that's based in biological essentialism. If she was an intersectionist and actually believed in social constructivism, she would have been just fine, but then she would also agree that trans women are women. But anyway, yeah, so this is bad precedent that's about to be set in the UK. Hopefully, the Equality and Human Rights Commission overturns this and it's just like, no. But anyway, the next thing I wanted to add to this is just, this is the sort of thing that gets censored off the internet. So TikTok have banned the super straight movement and its creator. You may remember that TikToker Kyle Royce, just some young lad who was just thinking about this in his car, had put up a video saying, well, look, I want to find my sexuality. Just to summarise, someone who is authentically female, so an authentic woman being a woman who is born female, identifies as female, and therefore can engage in a relationship that can produce viable offspring. Right? That's basically the summary of what his super straight sexuality was. And apparently far-right groups got hold of the term and have been pushing for it to become a part of the LGBTQ plus community, spreading hateful memes and starting petitions.
I mean, I must say, it doesn't help that the initials come out as SS.
He chose it!
LGBTSS.
However, social media platforms like TikTok and Reddit are now making efforts to stop the harmful content from being shared. I'm not sure who the victims of the super straight movement were. I'd like to see someone and the proof that they've had harm done to them.
This person didn't want to have sex with me. That's not harm.
Yeah, that's not harm. That's all there. That's true. It seems kind of rapey, to be honest, on the part of the intersectionals there. But they banned TikTok has banned the hashtag super straight, so you can't use that now. And they said they did it for spreading hate speech and hateful ideologies. Hateful ideology.
Hateful ideology to say I want to have sex with these people, but not them.
Yes. If you're not having sex with this certain category of people because you don't think they're the same as this other category of people, then you're the problem. For example, if you're like, look, I'm a gay man, therefore I only want to have sex with gay men, you're a bigot for leaving out cis women.
It's a hateful ideology.
That's a hateful ideology. It's disgusting. Gay men need to be having sex with cis women. That's the TikTok's official position on this subject. I don't know why. But I mean, I would have just hit back with love is love, you bigots. Yes, I'm conservative.
But actually...
Now the positions are entirely reversed. In a statement to Pink News, a TikTok spokesperson said, and just before we go further, that's TikTok is giving statements to Pink News on this. They're not giving like statements to a normal outlet. No. The intersectional outlets. They say our community guidelines make clear that we do not tolerate hate speech or hateful ideologies. We will take action when issues are brought to our attention. We will continue to monitor this situation for further developments and take action wherever necessary. That's right. They're going to police super straight people on TikTok. We're monitoring this. You better be having sex with trannies, or else you're in trouble. You're banned from TikTok. I mean, I've never had sex with a trans person in my life. I'm probably banned from TikTok.
Oh boy, how far until that becomes Facebook policy and then YouTube policy as well?
Oh, we've already got a precedent. And I love that whoever wrote this article, right? But they say, when you head to the super straight hashtag now, you're greeted with an error message which reads no results found. There's that's censorship. Yeah. There's also an additional note that reads, the phrase may be associated with behaviour or content that violates our guidelines. Promoting a safe and positive experience is TikTok's top priority. So if you're not prepared to suck the feminine penis, then you are violating TikTok's guidelines.
I mean, keeping in mind here, TikTok is a Chinese company. I wonder what happens if you go to China and look up homosexuality.
I think that China's official position is that it's a super straight state.
Yeah.
Not even joking. Sadly, there are other versions of the super straight hashtag, like misspelled super straight, are now being used to get around the ban, but thankfully, some members of the LGBTQ community are flooding around the ban positively. And that's what the Pedoland positivity. Flooding content positively. That's how you describe it. But the downside of this is, of course, what happens to those people on the other side. So this is just something I found floating around the internet, and I just figured we may as well just read it word for word and call this person a bigot. Today is 5 years since my double mistake. It didn't hit me so hard, but it's really tough to deal with. My scars are so large and what is forming on the skin. I can't believe I was allowed to do this as a child, to have this procedure. No one could have prepared me for the reality of it. I was promised sunshine and rainbows, happiness, all my sadness and gender dysphoria would go away. Of course, a kid who is miserable would take that immediately. I don't even feel I fit into any gender anymore. My dysphoria is worse than I could have imagined. The fever dream that transition blinded me. I'm so tired. I wish I could go back to being a little girl and tell myself, no, this is the wrong path. I do hope that this bigot eventually gets deplatformed from TikTok, because this is hate.
You can hear the judge. Your opinion is not worthy of respect in a democratic society.
Oof, that's exactly what you would have to say. It's forced into this position. But anyway, so that's what's going on in Britain regarding transgenderism and wokeness.
God, you're a joke. I was going to say, you know the, what is it, eat the bugs, live in the pod mantra?
Yeah.
Like, we're literally going to have to add, like, F the transgender. Like,
suck the feminine penis.
Yeah, like, it's going to be on there or you're going to be banned.
Yeah. You don't have a dick, you don't have to belong to a woman. You're not on our platform, says TikTok. Other orifices might be acceptable. I guess it goes down to different actors. But it's just so ridiculous. Like, it's so obviously oppressive as well. Like, why are you so bothered about it? Why do you care? Oh, some people on the internet said something. Oh, really?
I mean, it's like the hyper-conservatives who are really upset about, you know, like a gay man has sex with a gay man in practice his own home.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like, who are they
Isn't there someone you forgot to ask? Well, apparently TikTok.
Yeah.
And the British government. But the thing, I just hate this whole thing. But we'll talk about, like, the eat the bug stuff later, because I do want to talk about the eat the bug stuff, because I actually don't have a particular, like, aversion to eating bugs. Like, I don't really care, right? You know, if it tastes, you know, it's perfectly acceptable source food. Like, I eat prawns, right, and shrimp and stuff like this. What's the difference? The difference is how it's prepared, right? Because whenever you see it, it's like, oh, you're gonna have to eat the bug. And it's got a nice salad with a cockroach on it. And it's like, right, eat this. So why? Why the hell can't you cook it first? Put it in a sausage. You know, just chop it up, fry it, whatever it is. No, just a raw bug in shell, eat. So that's the problem that I think people have with it. If it was like, look, we just, you know, we use bugs in the sausage.
It's sort of like the person giving you is mocking you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's humiliation. It's
we'll save this for
we'll save this for another time. But that's what it's about. But anyway, I guess the last thing to talk about is the thing that nobody else is talking about. The most irrelevant thing in the world that actually nobody cares about in any way, shape, or form: the Oscars, the failing woke Oscars. So I guess we'll just watch a very brief highlights reel, about minute one. That's what I got from Variety or something like that.
Welcome to the 93rd Oscars. It has been quite a year, and we are still smack dab in the middle of it. We are mourning the loss of so many, and I have to be honest, if things had gone differently this past week in Minneapolis, I might have traded in my heels for marching boots.
Like, it's incredible. My mom met my dad, they had sex. It's amazing. Like, do you understand? I'm here. You know what I mean? So, I'm so happy to be alive.
So I want to say thank you to our ancestors who put the work in, were denied, but never gave up. And I also stand here to meet and I break this glass ceiling with so much excitement for the future. Because I can picture Black trans women standing up here, and Asian sisters, and our Latina sisters, and Indigenous women. And I know that one day it won't be unusual or groundbreaking. It will just be normal.
Please watch our movie on the largest screen possible. And one day, very, very soon, take everyone you know into a theater, shoulder to shoulder, in that dark space, and watch every film that's represented here tonight. We give this one to our wolf.
That's some high quality cringe you found there.
I know. Remember when it used to be about movies? Like, what? Okay, anyway, so...
Like, I'm just thinking about all of that. If I was in the audience, I'd be like, boo, where's Ricky Gervais?
Well, yeah, you can see that he wasn't invited back, unfortunately, because he was the last good thing about the Oscars. But this thing, like, look at the lunacy that is on display there. Like, someone dedicating it to a wolf and then yelling or howling.
I mean, it's like 2012's like feminist poetry sessions.
Yeah, it
that everyone
is.
used to mock.
Yeah, it's like feminist slam poetry being done at the Oscars. But yeah, so I mean, I didn't watch this, so I'm just going off the coverage that's going around. Because like everyone else, why would virtually no one watch this? Like social media reaction to it. But the small cadre of Twitter lunatics who do watch it were furious that Chadwick Boseman was not getting a posthumous Oscar instead of Anthony Hopkins. Now, I haven't seen either of the films these people were in, and I don't care. But anyway,
Usually give them to dead people.
I can imagine they probably have in the past. And Chadwick Boseman died of cancer, like 43, so it is, tragic, and I can see why they would expect it, but for some reason they gave it to the old straight white man. Make it
No.
make it go on.
No.
So Chadwick Boseman had done a film called Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Didn't know this. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Don't know why they did that. An Oscar for a film called The Father.
Heard anyone?
That's why no one watches.
Because I was thinking she's also saying, like, go and watch it on the biggest screen you can find. It's like, we're in lockdown. Like,
Yeah.
the biggest screen
All
you
of
can
the
find.
cinemas have been shut. A bunch of them have closed down. Everything's moving to Netflix because it's the only thing the government will let us do anymore. And everyone's watching Godzilla vs. King Kong. I don't know what you're doing. Who are you people? Like, I don't know. Like with that clip, the little clip show we had. I don't know who any of them are. I thought passing on the street. But yeah, Hopkins won the prestigious award, which is too far, I suppose, for his role in the drama The Father. However, he wasn't able to attend the ceremony, and so how very dare you? People on Twitter were furious. Are you serious, Oscars? You had one thing to do this year, which is honour Chadwick Boseman for Best Actor. But the only sure thing this year is that you gave the Best Actor trophy to Anthony Hopkins for a movie no one saw. That's right, nobody saw Ma Rainey's Black Bottom either, if that helps. Hopkins didn't even show up. Ridiculous. Furious. Oscars ending this way is the true year 2020 representation. In all seriousness, it's very, very gross that the Academy used Chadwick's likeness to get coverage for swag bags in anticipation of his win to retain viewership, and they gave him nothing. Well, I mean, I suppose his ghost is weeping in the afterlife. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh no, I didn't get an Oscar.
Yeah.
I mean, do you...
Yeah.
But it looks like a sign of, cringe at this point. Like,
Civilization in decline.
You got an Oscar?
Yeah, but one person who did win Oscars is someone called Chloe Zhao. Have heard of her? Three.
See, it's a middle of mediocrity.
Best picture, best director, and best actress.
Out of the 10 people in the room.
He's thinking yes. But so this is the New York Times reporting. In many ways, the 93rd Oscars amounted to a celebration of diversity. In what ways did it? Like, it seems to be cured. It's just halted, dressed up. So anyway, in an issue that the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences has emphasised in the wake of the Oscars so white protest in 2016, when its acting nominees are all white. This year, 9 of the 20 nominations went to people of colour. In other firsts, Mia Neal and Jamaica Wilson became the first black women to win the Makeup and Hairstyling Oscar, a prize they shared with Sergio Lopez Rivera for their work on Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I know that one day it won't be unusual or groundbreaking, Neal said about her win, it will just be normal. I have no idea who does the makeup for anything else. And now I'm going to assume it's just white people. just white people doing makeup. Because otherwise, they haven't told me. If you just told me that every makeup artist since the inception of Hollywood was black, oh, that's nice. I wouldn't know. And now I know the other. Now I know the deal. Chloe Zhao won her Oscars for something called Nomadland. Did you hear about it? No. Who are these people? It was a meditation on grief and the damaged American dream, which won those 3 awards. Zhao, who is Chinese, became only the second woman and the first woman of colour to win the award for Best Director. So Chinese confirmed people of colour. Well done, John, you've been upgraded.
All of a sudden, the fact that. But I also love the idea of like.
You were white for 5 minutes, but now...
But I also love this whole thing of like second woman to do X. And, like, what happens when it's the third and fourth, and then like what point does it stop being stunning and brave? 10th, 20th, 400th. When it's 100% women, then stop being stunning and brave. John says.
But that's So yeah, she wasn't the first woman. Obviously, that was Catherine Bigelow in 2010. But she says this: "I've been thinking a lot lately of how I keep going when things get hard." Referring to a Chinese poem that she read with her father that begins with the phrase, "People at birth are entirely good." This is for anyone who has the faith and courage to hold on to goodness in themselves and hold on to Thanks. Well, it's A, but B, it's exactly the beginning of communism. I hate everything about it. People at birth are not entitled. You have to actually be trained to not be really selfish.
Somalia, land of good people.
Inherently good people. Before the capitalists destroyed it. It's so stupid. The thing is, it is actually, I think, at the root of the kind of philosophical malaise gripping the West at the moment. The idea that we are born perfect and we become corrupted by society, and therefore society is the thing that's bad, not ourselves. And it's like, sorry, no, we're actually not great people when we're young, and we have to work hard to become good people. And in fact, it takes many, many years of trial and error. And especially when you have bad instruction around you like this. Rousseau was wrong. Rousseau was evil. Rousseau was French. All synonyms. But that's the point. These people seem to have a set of beliefs that I think are totally incompatible with my own, and I disagree with. But anyway, apparently politics was just the order of the day. As Pink News reports, there was someone called Tyler Perry there. Don't know who that is. He urged the world to refuse homophobia, transphobia, and hate in powerful Oscar speech.
Oh, all right then.
And doubtless Judge James Taylor was like, oh, you know,
I mean, I was going to accept homophobia and transphobia, but all right, change my mind.
Yeah, well, I was pro-hate up until this speech, and I was like, oh, maybe I won't be pro-hate. I don't know.
It's so dumb.
I know, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? But this is what happens when you have all one side represented and none of the other side represented. It's like, it's just us, and then the other side is just you. And it's like, oh, you're the hate ones. Oh, okay.
Good conversation.
Let me Let me tell you about the virtues of hate then. But anyway, I'm not going to bother going through what his mum told him. The next one was he was just he ends up going, look, we need to stand in the middle. We need to change and conversations happen in the middle. So anyone who wants to meet me in the middle, to refuse hate, to refuse blanket judgment, and to help lift someone's feet off the ground, this one's for you. Face centrism, but where's the other side? They can meet me in the middle. Wait, where are they?
They're all banned.
Yeah, they're all banned. They're all marching in the streets. But anyway, the next one was about police brutality, which was a bisexual comedian, an actor and writer called Trayvon Free. Never heard of him. Don't know who these people are. Have you considered that the bubble of Hollywood is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking?
I mean, it's almost been killed by COVID. Yes. If there's one blessing, it's that.
And wokeness. So one blessing, it's that. But yeah, I mean, he goes on about basically the problems that he thinks occurred in America, which are about police brutality. He's wearing a suit emblazoned with the names of victims of police brutality. This is totally different. He did a video. He did a video. Like it's just something threw up on YouTube. And he made a movie, actually, a short film for a award for the film Two Distant Strangers, which focuses on police brutality and racial justice. It depicts a man caught in a time loop, forced to relive his fatal shooting at the hands of a police officer. Pink News also tell us at the head of the ceremony, they wore matching Dolce & Gabbana suits, which they opened to reveal the lining covered with the names of police brutality victims. They also wore Nike shoes with more names, including George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. So, that's how you demonstrate that you're in touch with working class Americans.
But this is literally like the Babylon Bee meme, where they got like, oh, millionaires have put their yachts to say we're all in this together.
Yeah.
Like, look, my Gucci suit has all the names of police brutality victims. Also, check out my Nike sneakers, like.
It also looks very much like the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
So go back up to the picture. This looks incredibly Hunger Games to me.
People from the capital.
Yeah. While the people in the districts are just like scratching a living, protesting in the streets.
You know, your lockdown is George Floyd. Yeah, I'm hanging out with my Gucci.
Look at George Floyd's name described in the shoe.
It's a pretty weird place to put it as well.
Yeah, that is.
Like, why the shoe?
Yeah. I was at least it wasn't. As John points,
Small mercies, okay.
small mercies. But he says, the police will kill 3 people on average a day in America, and which amounts to 1,000 people a year, and those people happen to be disproportionately black. That's a weird way of condemning the black community in America, but anyway, moving on, so we're running out of time. The best response to the Oscars was this one from Johnny Olekhinsky from the New York Post, which was fantastic. Just read the title: Oscars 2021 tortured viewers for more than 3 unbearable hours. He's correct, I think. But essentially, the summary of that is the progressives are wearing the Oscars as a skin suit and will parade around in it, claiming to be the authentic product they think they look like. But the thing is, the question will be, what will the viewing figures be like? Atrocious, I imagine.
I mean, COVID's been going on so long. I'm pretty sure we covered this last year, and their viewership just dropped like a stone.
Yeah, well, I happen to have it, right? So in 2014, the Oscars got 40 million US-based viewers, and in 2020, they got 23.6 million, so literally half their audience. And this is the lowest point it's ever been at. What I love about The Independent here, talking about it, saying many are speculating about the reasons for 2020's poor television ratings. It's possible that many people are choosing to watch the Oscars illegally via internet streaming sites. Yeah, that's the most incredible cope I've ever seen. Nobody's watching. Your crappy, self-congratulatory, back-patting woke brigade. No one cares. Just show us the damn movies.
And then this year with real no movies,
yeah,
which is why you get so many people that no one's ever heard of, screeching about wolves, for some reason,
and bums.
Yeah, I was asking for its death. I didn't think it would come so soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that it's literally like 10 or 15 million people who watch, and then it's just like, wow, you've actually wokeness has genuinely killed.
15 million people watch something? I mean, you tune off after the first 2 minutes, surely.
I personally would, yeah.
Or is that just the number of TVs that are left on in the United States unattended? 15 million.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got to leave something for the kids. Which is the problem, in fact, the kids are going to come away thinking, oh, this is good. No, there we go.
Yeah, no, that's good news. That's a white pill. Literally the Oscars, we were asking for its death for years. I mean, Ricky Gervais did some good damage.
Massive freedom protest, Oscars collapsing. The only problem is literally the British judges saying you're not allowed to criticise trans orthodoxy.
Yeah, positive. Anyway, let's go to the video comments.
The topic of speaking out, I found the best way is in non-political discussions where you notice a subtle creeping of leftist values and assumptions. Just as subtly, you can push back on those values with more based principles by citing non-political examples of said principles that the person is likely to agree with. In this way, you subvert the subversion, which is how I've been protecting my own communities from infiltration.
Yeah, he's right about this. Because what he's saying is essentially, everyone's going along, doing their thing, talking, and then suddenly, boom, racism, intersectional attacks. But you can kind of attack them in turn by saying, well, okay, but what about fidelity, betrayal, deception, things like this? No, what are you talking about? Well, if you say trans women are women, and therefore I'm not allowed to even make any kind of distinction, and I'm like, right, I want to find a nice woman to set down have kids with. I'm going to be deceiving you, don't you? Because of certain ways of deceiving you. So there's moral, this one, morally loaded concepts involved that we can use to go back.
Personally, for something that does not work for me to go on the war, it has to be the Emperor's atheism and his militant atheism and the book The Last Church. In a world where there is unending evidence for thousands of different gods, including Nurgle, Slanesh, Zeech, Khorne, the Old Ones, the Catan, the Void Dragon, and the Emperor himself, being an atheist is to be wrong and irrational and just stupid.
I don't know, I mean, there's something weird to be said. I mean, if you're, let's say we encounter God. I mean, how do we even recognize him as God? Because the warp gods, for example, in 140k and whatnot, they all have their explanations about why they exist and how they're able to harness warp energy. It's not really mythical, it all can be explained. In which case, is it the same thing or not?
I don't really know, but I just love the idea that everyone's like, dear Emperor, don't you think there's a God? He's like, no, there is no God. And then suddenly, you are the God. Like, what? Like, what do you mean? Oh, no, I'm going to have to spend all my time fighting other gods in the warp. Like, okay.
They don't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I do get the point. It's just, I don't know, how do you actually define a god? Because if you can explain everything he does naturally and through scientific means.
Yeah, but why would you think that the natural world wasn't the consequence of God?
Sure, but then, take the Chaos Gods. If they're not supernatural but are natural and can be naturally explained, well, then are they supernatural? I mean, surely not.
But can they be naturally explained?
Well, that's the thing. In 40k lore, apparently yes. But
is that natural, or is that just like saying that they have powers? I don't know.
Also, in reference to what I said in, the one that was the video I made on Thursday, but to the Friday podcast, if you can just riot and loot and destroy cities until you just get people to be of guilty verdicts, then clearly you cannot function in a civilized society. How is this not an argument that people could make? It's just, I don't see this going well, personally.
I think that's self-evidently true. If you abandon the concept of a civil society, then it's hard to have one. And it can't go well, which is why it's not.
Go to the next one.
Some advice within the Half-Mile as to having a guest over. Unfortunately, it's nothing too weird. Hail to a good host. A guest has come inside. Where should he sit? He is impatient, standing on the threshold, ready to strike the blow. He needs a fire, the one who has just come in. His knees are shivering, food and dry clothes will do him well, after his journey over the mountain. He needs water, the one who has just arrived, dry clothes and a warm welcome from a friendly host. And if he can get it, the chance to listen, and be listened to. So, some good advice.
As people who don't know, this chat previously had shown us like a book of pagan sayings or whatever it was, like Norse sayings about how you should treat people. Yeah, it seems pretty wholesome.
Yeah. This is long. This is a very, very ancient custom that goes across all civilizations that you can think of, and it's the idea that you have to be hospitable to a guest, because often in the pre-modern era, things were awful everywhere, and so if someone travelled a long way, you get this in the Bible. It's like, shake off the dust of the road off your feet, come in and eat and things like this, because people would be tired, it'd be rough. You'd have to, like, literally, people walked for weeks. If you wanted to get to London, you had to walk like a week to get to London from here. So you get to London, you might, can I have some hospitality, please? Someone like, yes, food, whatever. And this is in all cultures and all times and all places, so it's nice to hear it. And it's always basically the same advice as well.
You said that the Scottish law banning offline speech that could be mean is unenforceable. Well, you seem to have forgotten about Alexa and Google and the fact that you're always listening to it.
Yeah, I'd say to that.
That's true. I don't know if they have the ability to present that in court as evidence. It would depend, obviously. But that's absolutely true. If not that, you can always get just people to telltale.
Yep.
That's how the Soviet Union did it. That's how most of the countries in the East still do it.
That's how Ingsoc did it.
Yeah, you just get people to tell on their parents or to tell on their lovers and whatnot. But, oh, did you know he said something transphobic? Let's get it. So, can be.
I think you may misunderstand the whole taxation without representation thing. Americans were legally obligated to buy and sell things directly from England, and all American products were going through England to be sold elsewhere in the world. So England was already making a profit on American goods. And then they decided we're going to tax you on top of that. And we found that unacceptable.
That's the thing, was the fact that you had to send goods to England unique? Because I imagine the Spanish and the French were the same.
This is the mercantile system where basically all of these empires become closed economies. So yeah, it's completely normal. But I don't see how that changes our point about taxation without representation.
Yeah, I mean, that's still true. I mean, I think the point of representation was your surprise that there was a 1% stamp tax that did it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just looking at it from a modern perspective. I would charge 45% of their income or whatever. And then they're like 1%. God, yeah, I wish we were around about 1%. And the rest of the other 44%.
Like I think about this, my dad only got the petrol protest back in the day. I got for a pound a litre. And I was like 120 a litre and 130. I don't know, that's right. But yeah, no one cares. No one cares now.
Yeah, let's pay the taxes.
Good afternoon. I'm taking a break from the jihad for today to share a joke that I thought of on Friday's episode. Carl and Callum, first Muslim bishop of the Church of England. After all, if there is not a Muslim bishop of the Church of England, how can you be anti-racist?
How can you be truly inclusive?
That's a great point. And speaking to Sadiq Khan's observation that none of my personal identities contradict one another, even if I'm an atheist, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, then how could we say no?
Totally true. Let's go to the next one.
Well, morning guys. It's a balmy 4 degrees in Aberdeen and I'm waiting outside my favourite local cigar bar to exercise my newly reacquired right to drink. Skull.
What is a cigar bar? Because I don't smoke, so do you just stand there and smoke with other people indoors?
Sit down drinking, smoking cigars and talking about things.
So is it just an invention in response to the anti-smoking legislation?
I assume so.
Right, okay.
It's a nice thing to do.
Yeah, if you're a smoker.
Yeah, I like cigars, so.
Yeah, I fucking agree.
Hey guys, I am going to the pub today
for
the first time since October. And I've just been to the gym. I feel like I'm back in my own body rather than being a kind of puppet of Herr Sturgeon. But yeah, my question is, when will the Greenwood podcast be back, and also when's the Bigfoot thing going up? Thanks.
Good question. The Greenwood podcast probably not for some time, and the Bigfoot stuff, we need to re-record it really because I wasn't happy with the recording we did.
So I beat him.
It's not that. It's not that. It's not that.
Bigfoot's not real.
I'm not saying it is. That's the thing.
I know, I'm just having fun.
I was just not happy with the framing.
So we did the recording, and Carl wants to improve a few things, so we're going to do the recording again. You got your notes, so we'll do it fairly soon.
Yeah, we'll re-record it this week.
And I must note this, as I heard Vicky noticing earlier, like all the Scots who were asking questions, like, oh, you going to the pub? Well, enjoy it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you've earned it.
Yeah.
You have to live with Nicola Sturgeon. Nitrocellulus Doormat says, great work, guys. I applaud everyone who went on the Freedom March. I would like to thank them for their effort. Yeah, me too. Those who are trying to pour scorn, shame, or misuse of catastrophe on the other side of the world need to take a step back and try applying something called respect. Also, those in the medical profession could use their knowledge to think about what a vaccinated UK population could start doing to claw back our rights and freedoms. Those who try and stand in the way are honestly showing their true colours. Yeah. The people who are complaining about this are just... The reason I was saying, this is a very thin narrative that they've got. So look, you vaccinated people over here can't march because there are people in India who are dying. Okay, well, what's the causal connection here? Zero? Nothing? Then what are you trying to stop people from doing this for? Especially when you've got, like, the other side, when the women were having their march, and you're like, oh, I agree with this. It's literally just...
You're just fearmongers.
Exactly. But it's literally just me, us. You bad. Us good, you bad. And that's, yeah.
I should also mention, we ran into quite a few people on the march who recognized me from the podcast. And
oh, really?
It was good to meet you guys. So
that's nice.
Yeah. If you're watching today, yeah, it was good to be there. It was good to see people. So.
Good. Bilbo Swaggin says, thousands of people chanting we are free gives me hope. Yeah, me too. Sugar Supremacist says, watching all those people in London makes me feel like Winston from 1984 when he realises he's not the only one who's unorthodox. Well done, lads. Yeah.
That's the thing, there's thousands and thousands and thousands. And it's also the great point there. Everyone chanting freedom. I mean, no other nonsense chants that don't really make any sense.
Nothing ideological.
No, just freedom, 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 freedom. It was great to hear.
Yeah. Speaking of grassroots movements, says Henry, did you see the One True Josh fight stateside over the weekend? How does your Josh feel about the government blocking him from travelling to fight for the title? I'll ask him. I can't imagine he's happy, and I think that he would definitely have come out on top. Us. Anon
explain that meme at some point.
I know, it's great. Anon says, interesting how the signs of this protest in London all look amateur and homemade. Even more that there's not a lot of it. Yeah, that's another thing, isn't it? Like when you're watching the thing going past, people had obviously made their own signs. They weren't like Hope Not Hate organisations handing out the pre-made signs.
I mean, people who know British politics, Stand Up to Racism, for example. Yeah. It's the same signs with the same colours with the same logos.
At every single protest, dozens and dozens of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
and that's how you know it's just organised people going from the same place to different.
That's how you know that George Soros paid for it.
Yeah, whereas for these protests, just people buying the stuff.
Yeah. Chris says, wasn't there a series of interviews with old folks asking about COVID and most of them said, F this, I've only got so much time left, it's my family, because none of them seem to agree with lockdown measures. There were a few based boomers who were just like, this is ridiculous, why are you doing this? Yeah. You're forgetting that all the Kill the Bill protests and Sarah Everard vigils are socially distanced. You can't spread COVID at a lefty protest, remember? There's little evidence to confirm it. That's a good point, Lee.
Yeah, and when they were throwing and battling with the cops, they were socially distant battling with the cops.
Yeah. And we saw the pictures. They didn't seem very social. Anyway. Christian says, when all the people who have been banned by social media and the government can spontaneously create one of the largest protests in recent memory, you might want to check on evaluate if you are really a free society. Boris, are you listening? Yep. Chris says, also morning gents, just because it was morbidly amusing, I ran the numbers for the US COVID rates. Roughly 60% of the deaths were over the average US life expectancy. How did we get here? Because honestly, I'm at a loss. Well, it was the same here. The average age of death was over the average life expectancy. Anyway, Sugar Supremacist says, I worked on the front lines. These people are cringe. Stop the virtue bull. You don't get political sway just doing your jobs. Yeah, you get nothing.
That's why I wanted to make a point. Like, you keep seeing these verified nurses making a big deal about themselves. And it's not because they're nurses or working on the front line. No, they're activists. They're presidents of lobbying organisations. That's what they really are. They wear the mask of a frontline nurse.
Yeah. Drew says, Doctor, I'm a doctor and I'm tired of people not taking this virus seriously. Looking at TikTok answer this. Which one were you? Long Talks on the Niche says the French word for orgasm translates to little death. So death by orgasm has some weight to it, which, considering the mental image of a Frenchman, isn't one of cardiovascular fitness. No, it isn't. I've heard the same thing.
No, I'm just looking at Can You Die by orgasm.
Oh, not quite. Probably happened. George Happ says, is this a man or a woman, Winston? A woman! It's a woman! Winston shrieked in corner. Sometimes, Winston. Sometimes. Sometimes they're a man, sometimes they're all the ones. You must try hard. It's not easy to do. Yeah, the book club on 1984 is proceeding. It'll be done soonish. And yes, basically, that's where we are. Lee Burdick. We laughed at the Nazi Tumblr and Twitch mods of today could well be the police chiefs and judges of tomorrow. They are, apparently, if James Taylor is anything to go by. Student of history, British law, that's a woman. Me, okay, but she has a bigger dick than me. British law, that's okay, it's a womanly dick. Joel says, from the perspective of the state, wouldn't a birth certificate be a paper indicating the right to exist? Maybe.
Sure, if you need one, everyone's got one.
Yeah, right to exist or documentation that they do.
I mean, if you are demanding I need something that shows the right to exist, I'm not sure. I'll just say that. There you go. Now leave me alone.
Why do I have to assert the right to... Why do I have to... Who brought this up?
Socialists who think all rights come from the state.
Bingo. Bruh, why would we want to make Super Straight a part of LGBT alphabet soup? We don't need to have that kind of toxicity in our lives, says Tom. Good point.
Super straight community is like, nah, don't want to be involved with them.
You guys seem a bit hateful.
Yeah. Like, we'll probably take the L's and the G's, maybe the B's, but the people who are just gay, like, that's it. They're not defined by you.
Andre says, don't know if you saw, but Pixar is making a movie about a 14-year-old trans girl. They opened the casting looking for girls, not specifically trans girls, aged 12 to 17, that would be able to authentically portray a 14-year-old transgender girl. But wait for it, the girls need consent from the legal guardian. God, that's amazing, isn't it? You know, you need consent from your parents to be able to play a transgender child, but in the UK you don't need that. Anyway. Justin B says, no one was harmed by someone not having sex with them. Well, there was a guy in and around Manchester who was arrested for refusing to speak to a trans woman. He picked her up in a bar saying, I make adult movies, do you want to do one with me? Then found out she had a feminine penis and refused to continue. I think that they did him under verbal contract rules. I don't know what happened with the case in the end, but if he was convicted, it's basically banning both heterosexuality and homosexuality. My God. Anyway, going on. Thug Life Bear says, by the way, this year's Golden Raspberry for Worst Movie was given to the exposure of 2020 election fraud, Mike Lindell's documentary. Even the Jokes Awards are political. The Oscars are full of pics of people on Rotten Tomatoes who get things wrong, and the Razzies are full of pics of the same people, of those same people hate. These people are hacks. Yeah, it's transparent. Drew says, it looks like the participation trophies of my youth have infiltrated the Oscars, the Grammys, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Well, have award ceremonies always been like this? They have not always been like this. It used to be that people that made good stuff and popular got awards for that. These things, I remember watching these when I was a kid. It was like, you know, they were at least famous people. At least most of the people were.
At least they actually made a movie that was interesting, like not just screaming about wolves.
Yeah. Please tell me that you or one of your staff were not subjected to watching Oscar Report. Yeah, no, I didn't watch it. Just watched the clips that were going around. Nicholas says, I hope you had a good weekend. Yeah, I had a good weekend. Yeah, but
that was down in London.
I think the only reason it's worth watching the Oscars has been Leonardo DiCaprio finally winning. Afterwards, it's gone down the drain, possibly Oscars redemption, pottery shards. I don't think there's any redeeming this at this point. I think the whole thing is just disgusting and vermin-filled. Oh god, that sounds awful. Metaphorically vermin-filled. I think it's diseased, the Oscars. Yeah. Diseased with wokeism. Hey, Carl, over a year ago, I asked in the super chat for book recommendations. Today I've finished my dissertation on moral psychology based on The Righteous Mind by Height. They said, Mr. Benjamin, is there any acknowledgements for recommending me that book? Thank you. Well, thank you, Daniel. I think it was last week's Friday on segment about the Little King of London when Carl repeatedly asked with a raised tone, who cares what the foreigners think in English? Well,
Yes, it is.
attack. Mineral field depleted. Mutation complete. Metamorphosis complete. Our forces are under attack. Mineral field depleted. Mineral field depleted. Our forces are under attack. Our forces mineral field depleted. Our forces are under attack. The creature is under attack. The hive cluster is under attack. Our forces are under attack. The hive cluster is under attack. Our forces are under attack. Our drones are under attack. Our forces are under attack. The hive cluster is under attack. Our forces are under attack. Complete.
Oh, damn, you only have 4 units. I could have attacked there. This Warcry got too many kills. Oh, right, the lanes. I even forgot about it in watching the replay. Yeah, those wings needed to not do that. I could have actually fought this if I didn't throw away my wings. Great tourist count as Oh, I ran the roaches away from that fight thinking I was gonna lose it, but actually I won that fight. I can't believe this. They actually got that structure. Oh no, I called them away. Oh no, I had no idea those units were alive in there. Oh, I could have got so many more kills. Yeah, see, mistakes all over the place. It was a good game. Yeah, it's like only 5 soccer sets. You should have chased the army.
Oof.
You can make DTs. Make DTs. Invisible men. That's a small piece of fish then.